It's time now for the Casey Ingram Show on WSTU. The opinions expressed are those of the program host and guest and not necessarily those of WSTU. WSTU does not endorse products that may be mentioned. Any reproduction or retransmission of this broadcast is strictly prohibited without written consent of WSTU. And now, here's Casey Ingram.
Good morning. We are back with the Facebook Live video, but this show will air on WSTU AM 1450 at 10 a.m. on September 27th. Again at 10 a.m. WSTU AM 1450. But today, if you're here with me on Facebook, we're here live. You can ask questions and comment. We're going to have another show, and this one is with Gigi Suntum. She is the executive director of the 4C's. We have a lot of information we're going to share about that because it's a really great organization, one of many that we have here in Martin County doing wonderful things, especially for the children of our community. But before we get into that, I want to thank my sponsors. Indiantown Marina, it's one of South Florida's best boat storage facilities located inland on the Okeechobee Waterway. Indiantown Marina is a well-protected hurricane hull. Indiantown Marina is home to many in the cruising community who find the facility ideally situated and user-friendly. Indiantown Marina also has a do-it-yourself or full-service boatyard offering the best of both worlds. So electrical, mechanical, bottom painting, you name it. Whatever you need done on your boat, either Indiantown Marina can do it or you can come out and do it yourself if you're that inclined. Give them a call, Indiantown Marina, 772-597-2457, or visit indiantownmarina.com. And I have to remind everybody, it is hurricane season. We're in the midst of it. Please, 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 if you have not reserved your safe hurricane harborage, give Indiantown Marina a call today. I can tell you for certain that once a hurricane is named, you are likely not going to find a place in town. So have peace of mind, reserve your place, and know that if a hurricane comes your way, you're going to have a safe place for that expensive boat. Also, we're coming here today, from my home here, the Martin County Fairgrounds, and I wanted to just share with you, we have a lot of wonderful events. We just had Palm City CrossFit out here that had a benefit for Martin County PAL, Police Athletic League, and it was a huge event. There was probably 5,000 people out here, and wow. The Fairgrounds can host this. If you have an event, give us a call. We have a lot of space. I'm in one right now that you can rent. We have spaces up to 300 people. We have ones that are climate controlled, ones that aren't, and different spaces. So birthday parties, we have actually one of the companies is having a kind of a carnival Christmas coming out here. That's going to be a lot of fun. But we have that outdoor space, so give us a call out here at the Martin County Fairgrounds if you're looking for space. So now, I want to talk about the 4C's, and Gigi, I'm so glad you came down here today. Tell us, you're the executive director, you have been with 4C's for how long? I only know 4C's with you, so.
Right, everybody thinks I discovered the 4C's, I did not. Going on 17 years now, right. Mm-hmm.
That's why I moved here 15 years ago, and it's always been Gigi with the 4C's, so I would have thought you had discovered it myself. The 4C's is just a fantastic organization. So tell us what the 4C's does for the community.
Well, basically we have a twofold mission. Originally when the charity was started some 27 years ago, the main mission was to provide clothing that's gently used to children in our community and families that are struggling financially. And that's been, the pretty major focus of our organization over the years. But then about 17 years ago, we took on another component, and that was to help children with literacy in some of our elementary schools, and we developed a reading tutoring program. So those are our two basic missions.
Very important missions, and you're located out on Jack James Drive.
Mm-hmm, we are.
So that's just to the west of the Turnpike, right, in 95?
Right. If you go down Canner Highway in Martin County all the way to 95 to get on the Stewart, if you go past the Stewart exit,
just
Jack James is the next right-hand turn.
It's a fantastic store, but so important. And coincidentally, 17 years ago, you started when the literacy started.
Right, it is. It's kind of funny. It got started when I got started, and it's been so successful in the schools. We're very fortunate. We hit a little bump during COVID. Obviously, the schools were closed, but we're trying to build that program back up again because there's so many children that are reading below grade level right now, and if we don't really catch them before third grade, it becomes an issue for them as they, progress through school.
Tell us a little bit about that, Gigi, because you're absolutely right. Martin County schools, the last couple of years, it's been, reading proficiency has been at about the 50% level, which is shockingly low. And COVID happened, and so, students were home, and I think that really messed up a lot of their educational opportunities. It was not the same learning from home as what you can have in school. So what are the challenges that you're finding, and how are you addressing that?
Well, the major things that we've seen since COVID is, our volunteers became kind of timid about going back into the school. They were afraid they might get something, or
right.
Because let's face it, a lot of them are retired, older people that were more at risk. So we've been trying to build that back right now. But our tutors can be any age, but the tutoring happens during the school day. So then you'd have to have the time to put into it to get into the school. And then the schools have become a little bit more stringent with what they want to happen. It used to be more of a one-on-one kind of tutoring program, and now they prefer that our tutors work with small groups of students. So our numbers of kids we're serving hasn't gone down as much as the number of tutors that we have.
Okay.
So we're constantly trying to recruit new tutors to come in. And our program, I think, is special and different from some of the others because there is a whole orientation and training program that each volunteer gets before they go into the school. And while they're participating in the program, if they have issues or they need help with something, their student has a particular need. So the schools actually identify the students, but we have the support for the tutors with our literacy coordinator that works with us.
And Gigi, I was going to ask you that. You just answered it. What qualifications do you have to be a tutor? There's probably some background checks or something that you have to do, but other than that, you train them.
Right. The school requires background check. Other than that, you don't need any special requirements. We do find that we have many of our tutors that are retired educators, but it doesn't have to be the case. All you have to do is have an hour once a week during their free time at school or their reading block time, and that's basically it.
So 1 hour a week, what age of children are they working with?
We work primarily with the kindergarten through third grade, because those are the years where they're really building their reading skills.
There's a statistic about that, right? By the time you're in third grade, if whatever percentage you're behind, it's going to be super difficult to catch up,
right?
If at all.
You might not be able to make it.
So those early years when you think they're just cute little kids, wild little kids running around, there's so much more that's going on in development, especially with reading skills. So that's really an interesting aspect of your program, and you've been doing that for 17 years. The 4C's, I always think about the clothing, how important it is for shoes and clothes. And that's something, Gigi, I think about with children. There's so much peer pressure, and it's just one thing they don't have to worry about is their clothes. They might not have a new backpack or a new pair of shoes or something for school, and you're taking that stress away from these kids so they can concentrate on school, because they have a lot to concentrate on as it is.
It is. It's, sometimes we don't think about the kids and what they go through, especially when they get to, say, middle school age. The pressure to look like their friends is so much. And we look at our program as kind of really two major benefits. One, obviously, is the financial savings to a family, because you're not having to pay for these items that you get, and they can come in 3 times a year to get new clothes, new underwear, new shoes, and new socks. And then the other part is, as you mentioned, the self-esteem, the child's self-confidence level, them feeling like they really want to go to school because they do look like their friends, and they're not walking in wearing shabby things. We have really nice items that any child would, their parents would be purchasing for them at a department store. It's just that they've been worn before.
Those age groups, though, the children grow so quickly, the clothes are like new.
They really are. They really are. People, and I also say to people, I can talk about what we do over and over again, but unless you physically walk into the store, you really don't have a total picture of what's going on in there.
Tell us about the process, Gigi. So you mentioned that they can come in 3 times a year. So my impression is, was it like a Goodwill store where you come in and buy things at a discounted price? But it sounds like it's something different.
Well, when you walk in there, it looks almost like a regular department store. Everything's very organized, very clean, very neat, sized, sorted, and you just get the feeling that you're in a real store. And I think that's the main difference between walking into a thrift store and walking into what we have going on for kids. It's special. It's nice. We have a library. They can take books with them. We give each child a toy or stuffed animal when they leave. They get the new items that we pay for, which is the largest part of our budget for our new underwear and socks. And then we give every child between the ages of 5 and 16 a coupon they can take to our local Walmart to get new school shoes. And it's a $20 credit for each child.
That's huge. That's absolutely huge. Do the families have to show any kind of qualification to shop? Is it shopping, or how does it work?
It's free.
Okay.
So you bring everything up to what would normally be like a counter with a cash register, but there is no cash register. So they bring the items up, and then our volunteers will put them in groups of 6, because they get 6 pieces for each child. And then that's when they get their new stuff and their coupon to go to Walmart. So it's a very simple process, and it's just like a store, except you don't pay for anything. And the other thing that you asked about qualifications, so our families that come into our store, the only real qualifications that they need is that they have to live in Martin County.
Okay.
Because that's where our funding is. It's just particularly for Martin County. Other than that, the children need to be going to school in Martin County, so we just find out whether they're enrolled in our school system. But other than that, we don't ask for any type of proof of income or anything like that, because we feel like if you're coming in, you need help. So.
And especially these times since COVID, the inflation spiking up so high, the cost of everything has gone up. So again, this is the 4C's. It's really important. If any of these children need help, reading, clothing, you're right there to help them, and that's what's so special about it, Gigi. Tell us a little bit, obviously people can volunteer for the Literacy Project, help tutor, and obviously donations.
Right, so we use volunteers in many ways at the 4C's. We use them in the store to wait on the families to help us unpack the clothing. We also use volunteers to go around in the community to pick up the clothing, because we have 10 donation bins basically at most of the schools in Martin County, and they need to be emptied out once a week. So we have volunteers that go out with their own cars and vehicles and do that. We always need tutors for our reading program. And the other thing I didn't mention is we have a van that we take out in the community. So we can go to special events and bring clothes out to families in neighborhoods that can't necessarily get to us, whether it's their work schedule or lack of transportation, just whatever reason. We bring the van out, and sometimes we use volunteers to help with that. So we have lots of ways we can use people in our community.
Can the high school students, everybody has to have volunteer hours, so can they volunteer to be tutors?
It happens during the school day, so typically not, unless they're in some type of special program. Maybe a dual enrolled student at IRSC might be able to do it, but the tutoring typically takes place, I would say 90% of the time it's early morning, somewhere between 8 and 10 o'clock. So our regular traditional high school students would be in their own classes then. Okay.
So again, there's a lot of retired teachers here in the area, and what a wonderful thing to spend an hour or two a week doing, and it's the love of reading, and that's something that is a gift, a lifetime. It's a gift of a lifetime that everybody should have, and it's a skill that we all need. So to be successful, you have a lot of different fundraisers during the year that you need to keep the ball rolling, to keep the events going. So you have an event coming up for golf.
Yes. Now, of all the things that we do to raise money, because we have to keep operational, obviously, even though we get the clothing for free, we have a lot of other expenses with the overhead. But we have our annual golf tournament, which is in year 27, and it's very exciting. We do it at Monarch Country Club, and it's going to be held this year on Friday, October 27th in the afternoon, and we're looking for golfers to come on out and have fun. It's a good way to spend a Friday afternoon rather than me sitting in the office.
One of Gigi's favorites.
Yeah, so it's the tournament, and then we have a buffet dinner and cocktails and an auction, and so it's fun. It's very it's a good time. It's our largest fundraiser of the year.
This sounds like a lot of fun, and I just heard another opportunity for helping out volunteering, and that's donations to the fundraiser, right?
Right, we do have an auction, so anybody who's interested in promoting their business, you can do so by donating a silent auction item, or you can give us items that we can put into our golf goodie bags that each golfer can take with them. So
That sounds like a lot of fun. So
It is fun.
If you're a golfer, come on out. If you're not, you can at least come out and bid at the auction,
come on
right?
out. Yeah, if you don't golf and you want to come to the dinner, that's an option too. If you have a company that would like to sponsor the event, obviously,
Yes.
that's on the table as well.
When you're a nonprofit, any help, no matter what
Any
it is
help,
appreciated.
right,
So
right.
certainly that's coming up. Gigi, I want to talk a little bit more about the community that you serve, because I think that people in Martin County sometimes don't realize there's a lot of families that are having a real struggle out here. Martin County is an interesting county in that we're a very wealthy county, but that doesn't mean that we have people that are desperately struggling, and we don't see that all the time, but they're there.
Yeah, but you raise a good point. A lot of people don't think that there's families in this area that need the kind of help that we provide. However, I can tell you that in a given year, this past year, we had over 5,000 child visits to our store in that 12-month period. So that tells me that, yes, there is an issue, and yes, some of those children come more than once. They can come up to 3 times, but it just shows you that there are people living in poverty here. There are families struggling financially, and I don't know that you ever really think about it too much, but when you look at what families are up against with paying rent, with paying childcare, transportation costs, daycare, food, electricity, I mean, it goes on and on. What's left in your budget to buy clothes for your kids? Or if there's a way that you don't have to pay for that, why wouldn't you seek out some help? I mean, we feel like if you come 3 times a year and you have a family of 2 or 3 kids, you're going to save $1,000 by the time you get your new shoes, your new socks, your new underwear, 3 outfits, 3 times a year.
Right.
You get 3 kids, it just goes on and on, but it adds up quickly. And if you shop in a thrift store, even though it's still reasonable, you're still going to pay $4, $5, $6 for an item of clothing for your children. And we were founded on the basis that families need help, kids need help, and it was founded 27 years ago, and that was the premise, and unfortunately it's still the issue.
Well, I was just thinking about, Gigi, if you take a look at your tenure with the organization, you started in 2008, and we all remember 2008, the economy fell out from beneath us. Recovered from that, and then we had COVID, and we're recovering from that, and now we have these skyrocketing inflationary prices going on. I mean, there's just always something that seems like happening and you think about the family that's struggling, it's really hard to get ahead. You might feel like you're finally getting traction, and boom, something out of your control happens again.
Right. And over the years, I've unfortunately heard so many different sad stories from families that come in different circumstances, and we work with families where there's been domestic violence and mom ran with whatever she could carry for the kids, and now they're in a shelter and they only have with the clothes on their back. So, all types of situations, bad situations that families get into. So we're really glad that we've been able to be a part of Martin County for so many years, to be able to help these families. And we see some of the families who the kids have grown now and they've had their own children, and they're coming back into the store saying, my mom took me here when I was little, now I have my own kids and I'm still struggling. And we're just happy that we can make a difference for some of these families.
If you want to help, visit 4cmartin.org, 4cmartin.org, and that's your website.
That is.
And there's all kinds of information there. It's even helping to sponsor, and it tells a lot more about the organization. But Gigi, I've heard numbers of about 400 nonprofits in the area.
Oh my gosh.
And there's so many. How do you get the word out about your organization and make people realize, we need help too? And it's hard to get the attention because there's so many worthy causes out there.
I totally agree. I have seen, just in the 20 years that I've lived here, so many new nonprofits and so many good causes. And how do you, kind of stand out in the crowd? I guess it's the only way I can put it. And with Caring Children, Clothing Children, we're small. We don't have a home office. We don't have, branches, and sites in other cities or whatever. We're just us. It's a grassroots charity, so it is tough to get the word out. I rely on people like you and getting out into the public and getting on social media and having our schools help promote us and having parents talk to other parents about what we do. There's a lot of word of mouth, but we do our best. We try to get as much out to the community as we can, and we always need donations of clothes. We never, some places are like, we're full, we can't take any more clothes. We never reject. Bring your clothes, we don't care if we're full, we'll just store them till next season. We're lucky to have the extra space. So, just trying to get out there as much as I can. I try to belong to as many organizations as I can, and it's tough.
So help Gigi spread the word, because she can't do this by herself. That's for sure. There's just
one of me, and I have like 20 different jobs. So
you've done very well at it.
Well, thank you.
But more help is always appreciated. And with it, talking about shoes, you said you purchased underwear and shoes. Will you accept used shoes?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
And let's talk a little bit about, there's always bins around the area. So there's one, for example, by the Publix in Palm City by the post office. It's kind of just out in nowhere. I don't know who it belongs to. And I've heard rumors about these donation sites when they're like that they actually take the clothes and they're actually going to resell them. They might be taking them for eBay or something. I don't know if that's true or not, but that doesn't go to you.
No, I don't really know where that.
No, nobody does.
It's a mystery. So
it is.
Some
These
of
dumpsters out
some
there
of them
full
have
clothes.
800 numbers on them, and when I've tried to call and I just don't ever get. I don't know who I'm calling. I don't get an answer or whatever. But no, for us, when we started this organization, one of the things that we did was immediately partner with the school district, and they have allowed us to keep our bins on their property, which is awesome. They're legit. The stuff gets picked up once a week, and it goes directly to our store. We're very fortunate that we've been able to do that, but we're not affiliated with the other bins that are in the Walgreens parking lots and such.
And I just think it's wonderful to donate to an organization that you know who it's going to. I honestly, with those other ones, I really don't know who they are. So make sure you're donating to somebody that you know, especially here. This is a local organization, a local nonprofit.
It's been around forever.
We support it here. It stays here. Been around forever.
And people that donate to us, as opposed to some of the other charities, have told me that they like to donate to us because we give things away. And that's their main purpose, to give to us as opposed to somebody else.
Gigi, that's a really good point, because there's a lot of good charities out there. We have Salvation Army and Goodwill and all these other ones, but they're still a charge. There's still a price. And you guys still have the overhead. You do have a storefront. Lisa Blogna, you said, "Good morning, sweet ladies. Where can we drop the clothes off?" So let's talk about that again.
Okay, so there's 10 donation bins, and I'm happy to list them all off if I have time.
At least Jack James, but yeah. So
I mean, because there's a lot.
I don't know if folks can hear, but the thunder saying yes.
Yes. Tell me where
Mother
all of them
Nature
are.
ones, yes.
Because usually when somebody asks me that question, if they send me a Facebook message, I say, "Where do you live?" Because then I can say, "There's a bin here, there's a bin there." Okay, so the bins are at schools. And
any of the public schools.
Okay, so there's one. There used to be one at Jensen Beach. It's temporarily at Helping People Succeed because they renovated their school. There's one at Felix Williams. There's one at Seawind Elementary. There's one at Hope Sound Elementary. There's one at Anderson Middle. There's one at, in Palm City, there's one at Citrus. There's one at Bessie Creek. There's one at Hidden Oaks. And then we have two at non-public schools. There's one at St. Joseph's School in Stewart, and there's one at Redeemer Lutheran on East Ocean.
You pass, 100%. She said 10, she just named 10 off.
Well, I may have, we also have one at our store.
Okay, right.
So if you come to our store and for some, we're closed on certain days, there's always a bin at 4C's.
And that's Jack James Drive again, and that's just to the west of I-95, very important. That's the one anybody can go to, drive. Is there after hours drop off?
You can drop off there any 24/7 at our Jack James. The ones that are available 24/7 for drop off, the ones I always recommend are Hidden Oaks and Anderson Middle. There's no gate there. There's no, if the school's closed, you can still access those two bins all
That's good to know, because the rules have changed with schools, with security and safety these days. So those two schools, but if you don't remember, just remember out at Jack James. And
Or check our website, because I think they're all listed on
Check
there.
your website. When you drive into Jack James, there's a lot of different storefronts, but you're towards the front, right?
We are the very first set of stores you come to when you turn onto Jack James on the right. You don't even have to pass the street. Because people will drive back in there and say, I'm lost, I don't know where I am. I'm like, you've gone too far.
So the first store when you go into Jack James, Gigi Suntum, it has been absolutely a pleasure to have you here with 4C's. Again, 4cmartin.org. This charity is wonderful. It helps the children of our community, clothes and literacy. Anything that you can do to help, and that's money, donating time at the store, donating items, and especially helping tutoring as well. So I think we kind of covered it, and I want you to also to remember that the 27th annual Caring Children Clothing Children Golf Tournament, Friday, October 27th, 1 p.m. shotgun start, scramble format, which is important, scramble's good, takes the pressure off. $175 per player, includes dinner, cocktail, and ball drop tickets. So that, make sure you reach out to 4cmartin.org for more information. That's 772-221-8777, 221-8777. So Gigi, I wish you the best of luck, and I hope the tournament's a huge success, as it always is, and hope for no rain, and a lot of fun that I'm sure you'll have.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's absolutely been my pleasure. Again, folks, we're coming to you today from the Martin County Fair. Give us a call out here. Look us up online, martincountyfair.com, if you're looking for a rental space. Gigi, if you ever have anything that you need,
That's good to know.
Yeah, have any type of a get-together or fundraiser, give us a call. We do these kinds of things out here. So lots of fun that's going to be had. But again, I think we're winding down the hour. 4cmartin.org. I appreciate you tuning in. This show will air on WSTU AM 1450 Wednesday, September 27th at 10 a.m. So make sure to tune in, and it'll be here again on Facebook Live. Thank you so much for tuning in. And Lisa says, excellent. Thank you for repeating and tuned in a little bit late. So Jack James Drive is the place to drop off your clothes.